Just because we feel things, nerves, anxiety, tension, anger, frustration, that just says that we're not taking care of ourselves, which means if we're not taking care of ourselves, even though the business is doing well, we're still losing sight of how to continue the business. And the business is you first, right?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Again, so what message do you have for the naysayer? What message do you have for people that say, well, who has time for this? I'm here to build my business. I want to make money. Mental health, that doesn't make sense. It makes sense that you have an emotional pain and you make sick yourself. It doesn't make sense. So some people might think that, right? Some people, this clear example, even my dad have a big, very severe cancer in the throat.
Oh no.
And yeah. It was 3 teams of doctors. Even if it was in the news of the hospital after they did the operation. He's fine now, right? And looking back, we realized that what happened was that he was fired for his job, and he was so angry, so upset, resisting so much to it that lowered the defense again, emotional pain, and 2 years down the line, he has a severe cancer and almost died. But then, Kelly, you're talking about this, about mental health, about people are not taking it seriously. People think that what you're talking about is something that is not actually important. So, can you share a little bit more? Why it's extremely important, specifically for entrepreneurs, because we handle 100 times more pressure than an employee. Nothing wrong to be an employee. However, you are responsible only for one specific role to do, yeah. And whether entrepreneurs, we are responsible for our role. We're responsible for the people to do the job. We're responsible for even some of our employees only bring this salary to home, so we are responsible also for the whole family to eat, and we're responsible for our suppliers. And if you keep digging, so the pressure that we need to handle is a lot. So why people should be taken seriously and work on themselves in their mental health?
You're absolutely right. And first of all, I'm glad your father is doing better. And I'm assuming he's in remission.
Yeah. He's amazing. He's healthy. He's the whole thing disappear. But yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, he's great.
I hope it stays that way. And the other part you had mentioned, that we're responsible, or you're responsible for so many people, for so many projects, and so many families that are counting on these people to bring home the salary. And the whole concept of responsibility is humongous, right? But first and foremost, in order to be able to deliver all of these responsibilities, we need to deliver the responsibility of taking care of ourselves. And if we don't take care of ourselves, how are we going to be able to deliver the responsibility of making sure and ensuring that our business and the employees and the services are up to par, up to, the best perfect standard? Because if we're breaking down, our emotions tend to run high. We tend to make decisions based on emotion. And that is a very rough spot to be in, because you want to make sure that you have a filter between an emotional reaction and a pragmatic reaction. And you definitely want to respond more logically. So then if you're not able to focus on being logical, and you're not able to focus on being responsible for your own logic and emotional health, just because we feel things of, nerves, anxiety, tension, anger, frustration, that just says that we're not taking care of ourselves, which means if we're not taking care of ourselves, even though the business is doing well, we're still losing sight of how to continue the business. And the business is you first, right? Because you are the business. and you're the entity and you're the plan and you are the service and you're producing so that the families actually could sustain and they do well. So in order to do that, we need to make sure we as a business are thriving. Because if we're not thriving, then we're not being able to kind of foresee where the flaws may arise, where obstacles may arise, and then we fall. And so our success may be monetarily, high, but emotionally, mentally, you're weakened, and so you're not able to be intact and on point, which then also certain ramifications and consequences may occur. So one of the things that I highly recommend is always take a moment, and it takes 2 minutes to do. Just take in a moment of gratitude. Look at yourself, identify what you like about yourself, identify what you like about your life, what you appreciate about your life, what you appreciate about yourself. Not just the component of business, because business will run well as you run yourself. And, having, I guess the other component to this is having a therapist or a business coach or just a coach to just reflect on yourself as an entity, on yourself as a human being, and to make sure that, that while you are feeling some of these conflicts, if you speak to someone who is also taking care of themselves, right? You hope to have someone who's in alignment with that, because that's really important to check in that your therapist is taking care of themselves, right? And you want to make sure that while you're talking things out, you're actually creating solutions to some of those conflicts, dilemmas, whether they're emotional, logical, financial. So there's so many components in taking care of yourself, but I think that's the most important one. And the tension then subsides because you're walking out there with solutions, and that's what you really need, solutions.
So now let's talk about a little bit more about why about the anger and again management. I think that you wrote this book in order to help a lot of people out there. But in your view, why people get angry on the first place? Because usually people get angry when there is a conflict, but the conflict is happen when someone is thinking that haven't been fair with the other person, right? But we have this anger problem that sometimes, families, parents and so on, and they don't talk for years. And they don't even remember why they got angry in the first place. And we are professionals. We are masters at getting angry. So that is something that all our human beings, we are for that to get really angry and really upset. Oh, we are so good at that. But to be compassionate, to be understanding about the other person, to be to right. Sometimes is better to. I always say to be rich than to be right. But put in this context, yeah, put in this context, it's better to have and this is something that happened to me, by the way, yeah, which is when I was in these anger situations, right?
The roller coaster.
I was so aggressive that I was arguing a lot with my dad. So arguing, my dad, he knows a lot of things. So, he always want to be right, whatever it takes. Yeah. And I'm in this role as well, that I want to be right and I know everything with my ego and so on. But what happened, it was going so much argument going on. And one day I took, after I started to work on myself, I took I thought that, I prefer to be wrong and have my dad. That'll be right and be fighting with him all the time. So guess what happened? The whole relationship has changed. And today I give him his space. He comes every day. Do you know about this? I did this research. He knows. He's the type of person that look for the story of United States of whatever that nobody knows or in the world, and also, do you knew about this? And you see, I give him his moment of significance. I said, no, I didn't know. Tell me a little bit more. So now he goes and explain. So he has that moment. He's teaching me something, and I'm not resisting to it anymore. I'm another person. I'm actually enjoying it. I give it this space. I'm thinking behind my head. You see, this is beautiful because I have my dad. Whether I have it to be right, it was a constant battle that was deteriorating the relationship.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.